Who do you think I am? I'm asking you, man to man, right now, who do you think I am? What have you heard about me on the streets? The only correct answer is I'm Nick Shell, the living legend of hair loss. We better never have this conversation again. Let's check out a comment I got on a video here. A good friend, Super Dude, been following me for a while, watching my videos for a while. Here's what he said a day ago in my timeline in real life. He said this, quote, "You should do a podcast with some subscribers to talk about their journey. BaldCafe does it, and it works so well." To which I responded, I said, well, then BaldCafe should feature me on his channel. To which Super Dude said, "I've left a comment a couple months back, so fingers crossed." And then I said, "Let him know I came out of retirement and I'm ready now." To which Super Dude said, "Will do, great content there, but good to have you back." And that was the conversation. So here's the deal. I may have watched one of BaldCafe's videos once. I don't really understand the concept of how he even has people on his, like, do you do it through Skype? How does that even work? I don't know. But I will say, I'm open to being a guest on his channel if he would have me. I don't know how well the video would go because I'm a guy who doesn't care about his own hair loss, but serves as a host for other guys that are going through it to basically help them psychologically know how to process it. That's really this channel. So I don't know, maybe that would make a good video. It would be probably different. The guy who thought he was going to be bald by his early 30s is now in his late 30s, still has most of his hair, and even if he does go bald tomorrow, doesn't care. I guess that might actually be interesting. It'd be like the opposite of the normal episode on his thing. But so yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. If that works out, that's cool if it does. If not, it hasn't happened yet, so I don't know what I'm losing out on, right? But let's just explore this concept of me. It says you should do a podcast with some subscribers to talk about their journey. My response to that though is thanks but no thanks. I'm not interested in interviewing bald guys. Now I've interviewed several guys that had maybe some mild recession, but ultimately the guys I've interviewed are guys that are not losing their hair. I don't like the idea of reaching out to guys and say, "Hey, you're bald, pretty young, younger than me. Want to be on my channel?" And so I can ask you questions about it. It was funny because, as you all know, in 13 days from my real life and timeline, I will have my 20th high school reunion. And earlier in the year, somebody commented like, "Hey, you know what you should do? You should take your tripod and your camera and like interview your classmates, all the bald ones, and find out their story about when they went bald and how they're processing it now." I'm like, no, because I'm not a jerk. I'm not. I am the living legend of hair loss, and I'll tell it like it is, but I'm not a jerk. These are people I care about. I love those people that I grew up with, and I can't wait to see them. I do not reduce men to their hair loss. No. That is not something I would do. So the fact of going and interviewing, like just imagine, like however many people there, 50, 60, we're talking, we're hanging out, catching up. And I'm like, "Hey, can you come with me over here? I want to make a video and just totally drill you on all these questions because you're bald and I'm not. We're the same age, but you're bald and you probably went bald in your 20s. Let me interview. Is that cool? You want to be on my channel?" No. And so I have zero interest in interviewing bald guys. Now I will say, if I knew a bald guy that wanted to be on my channel and approached me on it, sure, of course I would. And I'd handle it even then delicately. But the concept of having bald guys on my show as guests, it just doesn't work for me. Because in reality, and I know that it's a struggle for so many people to remember this, I don't actually care about my own hair loss, and I really don't actually care about the topic, but it's like this. Have you seen the new Spider-Man, Far From Home? It just reinforces this concept that Spider-Man is a superhero that doesn't want to really have to deal with the responsibility of his superhero powers. And as we know, in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Well, this movie, explores the theme, the concept that Spider-Man he's not in a place in life where he wants to deal with that responsibility, And I just feel that for my responsibility, it's not to worry about my own, but it is my role. And see, this was important for the 3-month sabbatical that I took, that I thought would be permanent, is that for me, how do I put it? I have a responsibility as a YouTuber to make these videos. We all know that I'm #1 in the world on YouTube when it comes to the number of videos. Well over 2,700 videos dedicated exclusively to hair loss. There's no question I'm the winner there. When it comes to the most popular YouTuber that focuses largely on hair loss, I'm at least #4. And the irony is I'm not worried about going bald. But I recognize that the power that I have, like Spider-Man, my power is being able to communicate with people psychologically about hair loss and help them in their journey. So I'm creating this product for people to help them, even though I don't need the product myself. But again, going back to, but maybe that's my role. Maybe it takes a guy who honestly doesn't care about hair loss in general, whether it's my own or the topic at all. Maybe it takes that guy who has good communication skills to be able to carry this channel. Maybe no one else was quite qualified like I was for that, and I'm accepting that. But man, me interviewing bald guys on my channel, not unless they approached me and really wanted it, would I do it. I just think that that's dehumanizing. I think that's reducing a person to something so petty, so unimportant. I would much rather talk to that person about what they're good at, what their skill set is. Get to just hang out with them and talk to them and see what their version of humor is. Because that's the thing, as men, we are often reduced to our ability to make other people laugh. And there's lots of different styles of humor, but that is a big part of this. Like all these other things that make our masculine identities. And I had made a video a couple of days ago out in the garage when the AC wasn't working. And boy, it was hot. It was like, I think 105 degrees out there. If you notice, I was like sweating when I was making those videos. But when I was making those videos, I had talked about this, all this concept here. So yeah, I don't want to interview bald guys, but I do want to remind us of what makes us attractive and important and interesting to other people. So here's what I'm saying. Part of being a likable man, a respected man, is knowing what you're good at and what you're bad at. Here's what I'm saying. Bald Cafe is good at making these videos, interviewing these guys. That's his thing. It's not my thing. And I recognize that. I want Bald Cafe to do his thing. If he wants me to show up on his channel, it could probably be pretty cool, if that's what he wants. But I want him to keep doing his thing, and I'm going to keep doing my thing. We're going to keep doing the things that we're good at, as we both have our roles in this Marvel hair loss universe. So again, I recognize that I do have a responsibility now, and again, I think that 3-month sabbatical, and it's funny because when I planned to no longer do hair loss videos back in April, this conversation was coming up. People were asking me about it and saying that they had reached out to Bald Cafe about it. And basically my response is, why bother? I don't even care about hair loss. But again, saying it out loud and talking about it for 10 minutes actually makes me realize that's probably a good reason to have me on the channel. There's some irony to talk about. A popular YouTube channel from a guy who doesn't actually care about his own hair loss and doesn't really care about the topic in general, but has a responsibility to talk about it because he has a sensitive emotional intelligence and communication that can help those people. Spider-Man, Far From Home. It took seeing that movie yesterday to understand that about myself. I am Nick Shell, the living legend of hair loss, and I will never be perfect, but I am always learning. Learning about myself, learning about other people. The more we learn about the mindset of other people, often the more we can learn about ourselves. Your comments belong right here.